What is going on, YouTube? It is your boy Faithful to God, and I am up this morning very quickly to talk about a subject that really is intriguing and troubling to me. The fact that you have Hebrew Israelism proponents who are promoting a white supremacist book. This is absolutely positively mind-boggling because Hebrew Israelism claims to be against the idea of white supremacy, and yet here you have proponents within the movement who are promoting a white supremacist book. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and just kick things off, man, with just showing a couple of things. If y'all just give me a moment, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I mean, this to me is absolutely the pinnacle of desperation. If one wants to see just how far certain Hebrew Israelites will go to promote their beliefs, you're about to see just how far. All right, give me one moment. Just trying to get the window. Here we go. And I should be sharing now. All right. So, as the title suggests, I mentioned an IOG member. Now, before I go any further, I don't want anybody out there to think that I'm going out on a limb to say that every single IOG member holds to this. Rather, it is a specific IOG member by the name of Mikhail who has a channel called Hebrews in the Hood. He's promoting the book. You have GMS on your screen and other people who are promoting the book. So I'm going to go ahead and show everybody Mikhail's post. This is from the Christian Hebrew discussion group. And this is him telling somebody that he might want to, telling someone else that they might want to check out the book. And then he goes on to say that it was written by an Edomite. Now, I don't know if he holds to the white man being Esau doctrine, which would be a bit strange because, that's utterly debunkable. And we have videos on the channel which have proven that to be utterly debunkable. Before this hangout ends, I'm going to go ahead and go into Josephus like I usually do to show this to be a fact. But so this is the book right here. Who is Esau-edom? So what a lot of people don't know is that this book was written by Charles A. Wiseman. Now, Charles A. Wiseman, now I'm not sure if the man is dead or alive, but if let's just say hypothetically, if he is or isn't, whatever, I'll just talk as if, the man was alive. He is a proponent of Christian identity. Now, Christian identity was is a white supremacist movement that came out of British Israelism. Anybody that knows about British Israelism, it's pretty much the white counterparts to the Hebrew Israelite movement, which pre-exists their existence, ironically enough. And Christian identity promotes a lot of the same beliefs that we see within, for example, the one Western portion of the Hebrew Israelite movement. So this is the book. And just to show you, on this website, they do promote Christian identity beliefs. Let me see if I could go ahead and scroll down. Here we go. We believe that a prayerful study of the Bible and general knowledge of world history provides convincing proof that the Anglo-Saxon, Celtics, Scandinavian, Germanic, and related peoples, often called the Christian nations, are the racial descendants of the tribes of Israel. So, so this is a Christian identity website, obviously. And this is the author here promoting Christian identity beliefs. And basically, where he has an attack on Christian identity, Charles A. Wiseman. Again, I'll go ahead and read what Christian identity is. Christian identity is North American new religious movement characterized by a belief in white supremacy and anti-Semitism. Followers of Christian identity believe that the covenant recounted in the Bible was actually made between God and the Anglo-Saxons and other European peoples who are the real 10 lost tribes of Israel. Doesn't this sound eerily similar to the one Westers and, maybe even some of the things that even some of the moderates, quote unquote, will say, right? Yeah, matter of fact, anybody who wants, they can check out YouTube and see a whole bunch of videos from Christian identity guys. But Christian identity characterizes Jews as the offspring of Eve and Satan. In other words, they believe in the serpent seed doctrine and view people of African descent as subhuman. Though it has been largely unsuccessful in persuading white Israelites of their purported identity, small churches are active, mainly in the northwestern United States. The movement proselytizes through publications, recordings, and the internet. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pull up an excerpt from the book because I actually have the book. I found it online. And I'm going to show everybody in a moment just how much foolishness is in that book. And at another time, I'm not going to do it today, but I will take the moment to go through all the fallacious arguments in the book. Unless anybody want to say, oh, Faithful isn't really dealing with the book because, he can't really debunk the arguments and blah, blah, when nothing could be further from the truth because that that book is filled with such utterly debunkable foolishness. But what I'm going to do real quick, you guys give me a second, just give me a moment. I'm actually going to pull up the portion in the book which is being quoted so everybody can see it for themselves, where it's very clear that the book promotes Christian identity. I mean, the author is a proponent of Christian identity, but lest anybody want to argue otherwise. And it makes me wonder how people are telling others to read a book from a white supremacist because they want to kind of feed into some sort of presupposition. I mean, how do you get to that point where you're willing to compromise your integrity for the mere fact that you think the book is somehow advocating for your position, when in reality, the author of the book is a white supremacist? He's advocating for his worldview, not your worldview, his. And his worldview is pseudo. If you think yours is pseudo, man, let me tell you something, man. Some of these Christian identity people have some crazy, crazy, crazy things. And it sounds eerily similar in many cases to like I said, the one Westers. Anyway, so I got this uploaded. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, here we go. So this is from the book. All right, so this is page 50 and 51. Now I'm just going to go to the bottom of page 50 and look what it says. It says, it is an ancient conflict between, actually, you know what? Let me start up a little bit further back. It says, while there are differences among any two races or nations, among no other two has such an antagonistic and conflicting relationship existed as between the Jews and the white Christian people. Now look who they're going to try to identify the white Christian people as in a moment. Throughout history, these two peoples have been at odds with one another. Their manner of law, government, religion, and ideologies are diametrically opposite to one another. It is an ancient conflict between the ancient adversaries of Esau, and they put Jews there, and Jacob, white Christians. I don't think I need to say anything else. This book is super pseudo. But it's interesting, man, because for at least the one Westers, right, who read this book and think that this is somehow feeding into their presupposition when it's not. It's interesting when one actually reads, for example, Josephus in Antiquities of the Jews, and he's giving a commentary on Genesis 27. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. This is Antiquities of the Jews, and Josephus again giving his commentary on Genesis 27, being a actual Israelite from the tribe of Levi. And a man who could actually read Hebrew, unlike others who purport to be Israelites. And being able to understand the sort of language that's being used in the underlying text. You know, of course, in the time of Josephus, there was no KJV, right? So you had to actually read the Hebrew if you were reading the Old Testament, and you had to read the Greek if you were reading the New Testament. Now, Josephus probably didn't deal with the New Testament, being a Jew who was, more than likely Torah only. All right, so let me go ahead and present this. Just something light, man. This is just something for the Westers who hold to their silly beliefs. Now, this is Antiquities of the Jews, Book 1, Chapter 18, and I'm going to read Section 6. Accordingly, Esau went out a hunting, but Rebekah, thinking it proper to have the supplication made for obtaining the favor of God to Jacob, and that without the consent of Isaac, bid him kill kids of the goats and prepare a supper. So Jacob obeyed his mother according to all her instructions. Now, when the supper was got ready, he took a goat skin and put it about his arms, that by reason of its hairy roughness, he might by his father be believed to be Esau. For they being twins, and in all things else alike, differed only in this thing. In other words, Jacob and Esau were physically indistinguishable other than Esau's hairiness. Now, isn't that interesting? But what I find even more interesting is that how did Josephus come to the conclusion? Very simple. If you read Genesis 27 and 11, Jacob himself said that he was a smooth man and his brother was a hairy man. If you look at Genesis 25:24, when it talks about, when they were in the womb, it says, behold, twins were in the womb. Now, let me actually pull up real quick. I'm not going to screen share this one. But this here would have been something that Josephus, being a legitimate Israelite who could actually read Hebrew, would have understood. He would have looked at the Hebrew, and when one looks at the Hebrew, the word that appears for twins is talmim, which, again, anybody who uses Strong's, not saying you got to use Strong. Some cats got problems with Strong's. In fact, the individual who was promoting the book, one Hebrews in the Hood, actually discourages the usage of Strong's, which I'll perhaps make a video about that sometime in the future, just to highlight some of his incognizance and ignorance concerning that. But so anybody that wants to look it up, it's H8380. The root word is taum, which literally means twins. Now, the only thing that they differed in, because again, you could be physically indistinguishable and have a slight variance that adds a little character between, the two sides. So Esau was hairy, Jacob was not. And Josephus saw the Hebrew, understood it very clearly, lest anybody say, well, his father Isaac was blind. But nobody's arguing that Josephus literally lived during the time of Jacob and Esau. But isn't it funny, him being an Israelite, wouldn't the Israelites have talked about Edomites? In fact, Edomites lived in the nation of Israel at that time because many of them became converts. So they would have actually physically seen Edomites around them. Question is, what did they look like? Well, if the Hebrew Israelites promote the belief that everybody was black except for Esau, then how is it that Josephus is describing Jacob and Esau as being physically indistinguishable other than Esau's hairiness? Here's another question. The camps promote the belief that you are what your father is. Well, isn't it funny that we know who Esau's father was? And that was Isaac. So here's the question. If Isaac was a black man, according to the One West doctrine and whatever other Hebrew Israelites believe, what would that make Esau? Wouldn't he be black? No matter what he looks like. The confusion of faces, So Esau looked however he looked, and according to Josephus, indistinguishable other than his hairiness from Jacob, but his father was Isaac. You are what your father is, right? The seed of your father determines what you are, right? I think I'll just leave you guys on that note. And I could go further into this, but it's just, something that just wanted to point out that you have Hebrew Israelites out there who are actually promoting the work of a white supremacist. Man, oh man. But my brothers and sisters in Christ, please keep some of these cats in prayer. And hopefully one day they'll have enough discernment to realize the deception that they're in, the foolishness that they're engaging in, and ironically enough, that they are tools for promoting white supremacy without even realizing it. That's the crazy part. One Hebrews in the Hood likes to point out what a certain vocab Malone is doing, and yet he doesn't realize that he was in a discussion group promoting the work of a known white supremacist. And for any IOG members who will watch this, I would hope that you would rebuke that brother in private so that he'll receive correction and he will stop doing that kind of stuff. Because as of late, Mikhail has been making y'all look real suspect. I know you guys want to try to give off the impression that you're legit, but you need to kind of check your mans over there. He kind of got some suspect things going on. Some pseudo scholarship. I'm not saying that you guys don't got things that's a little sus too, but you might want to do something with Mikhail. Like, make sure that he's actually fact checking the kind of stuff that he's promoting to others, because it makes you guys look bad. And I know, IOG, that you guys don't want to be put into the same boat as the One Westers, and I understand why, but you need to do better than that, man. If you got this guy and he claims to be an apologist representing y'all, or if he claims that, no, well, when I do my thing, I'm not really doing any, I'm not representing IOG. But the mere fact that he's a member of the congregation and he's promoting that kind of stuff makes y'all look bad. So please do y'all due diligence and check your mans, please. But anyways, I thought I'd share that with some Christian brothers and sisters out there. And I will definitely make a hangout sometime in the future to go through the claims of the book so people can see how utterly debunkable they are. Anyways, with that being said, God bless you all. I hope this edifies somebody out there. And for the people who this was directed at, just get some act right or something, man. Get some correction or something. Anyways, take it easy, y'all.